Good morning. Okay, so today we are going to have a session completely on orientation, the things you need to be doing, what this examination is about, and what are the problems generally most of the candidates face. And most of your friends will be making it later. Initially, the classes will be only introduction. Okay. So for the next 15 days, almost 15 days, we'll be learning about each and every subject in detail as to what is there in each of those subjects properly. And we'll also focus on what are the areas, what are the subjects that are high yielding, and what are the subjects which are low yielding as well in prelims as well as mains. These areas we will be looking into. So, how many of you have a background in UPSC preparation? Have you ever prepared for UPSC CSE before? Anyone? No? You are all starting afresh. Yes? So, what do you think about the examination? Is it going to be difficult journey or a easy journey? Very difficult? Huh? So, it's not going to be as difficult, okay, provided you are consistent from day one. Okay, you have to be pretty consistent from day one, in the sense you have to have a regimen basically. So the regimen is going to be, if I attend the classes, further you have to put in the extra work as well. After the classes, you have to spend some extra time on studying. So keep a fixed amount of time on a daily basis. These are the number of hours I am going to spend. Okay. Sir, are we not supposed to take any leaves? You can take the leaves. Sorry. You can take the leaves. That's not an issue. But the leaves should not go beyond 3 to 4 days continuously. When you go for a leave from studying for 3 to 4 days, you are going to lose the rhythm for almost a week, 10 days. It's about, see, you are attending 6 hours of class, 4 hours of studying. This is the regimen you have. 6 plus 4, 10 hours. 4 days if you miss, that's going to be 40 hours. For those 40 hours to be compensated, per day you are studying 10 hours. Maximum, how many hours can you study? How many hours can you study maximum continuously? Huh? Continuously 4 hours in a day? In a day, in an entire day, if you are studying only, how many hours can you study? 5, 6 hours. Classes? Along with classes. So only classes will be 6 hours. Then studying 2, 3 hours. So over a period of time, if you do it, you will be able to stretch it easily to 4 hours. Okay. It's just the practice. So 6 hours of class, 4 hours of study. Now, if you miss 4 days of class, that's 40 hours. Right? 4 days of class, 4 days of studying, 40 hours. Maximum you can stretch it by 2 hours. Even if you stretch it by 2 hours, 10 hours will become 12. That would be 20 days for you to come back to rhythm. Okay? Think about it. If you miss 10 days, if you miss 10 days of studying continuously, 100 hours you have lost. To match it, you have to increase by 2 hours, make 10 hours into 12 hours, and you have to continue for how many days? 50 days. That's 2 months. So that would become burdensome. Precisely the reason why most of the people find it difficult. Once they lose the track of studying, that's when they feel pressurized. That's when they feel, okay, I'll not be able to do it. Do not commit that mistake. When you are starting, you start from day one. So today your first day. So you're going to attend the class for 2.5 hours. Sir, what am I going to do? So today is the first day. I'll be, there was nothing done in the class. It was just orientation. Am I not supposed to do anything? You have a lot of work to do today as well. You have to go home and then you have to find the syllabus, right? Get ready the syllabus. Okay, the first and the foremost thing is syllabus. Have a copy of the syllabus, right? To get the books ready, as in the answer copies or notebooks, right? So we are going to tell you how many subjects are there. I'll tell you how many subjects are there. Accordingly, get these things ready. The pen you are going to use for next 1 year, next 1.5 year, 2 years. Stick to one pen. Okay, the stationery part. The pen you are going to use, which is the most comfortable pen you have. I'm going to stick with this pen only till the end. So in between, you need not spend time on researching on that topic also. Okay, so this pen is not suitable, I'll switch to another pen. So another 1 hour, 2 hours is lost in between. So there are many simple things that you need to do. So when you are okay with the simple things, the somewhat difficult stuff becomes easier for you to handle. Your mind will not be under pressure for trivial things. Get the trivial things sorted. Okay, I'll suggest you 2 books towards the end of the session. Those 2 books are the ones which are NCERTs itself. Those you can start studying from today itself. In fact, you have to study them before the classes start. That would be better. 2 books only. Only 2 NCERTs. Okay. Now, why this examination is seen as a big challenge? UPSC CSE, the Civil Services Examination, why is it seen as a big challenge? So, it's a big challenge. Many people say this is one of the toughest examination in the world. One of the toughest examination in the world. I'll just give you some numbers. Probably you'll get an idea as to what you are supposed to do to be different, to be eligible for selection in this examination. So these numbers are not to scare you, but you have to understand how much difference it makes. I know you come from varied backgrounds, you come from different backgrounds altogether. But when you look at the people who get selected in this examination also, are the people who are coming from a lot of diverse backgrounds. People who are coming from very remote areas, though they do not have access to what basic education facilities there. They have fought it, they have, overcome all the challenges and they have gotten through. So we cannot say background is a decider. Then what is the decider? I'll just tell you the numbers. After that, we'll see what the challenges are. And then we will see, how those challenges can be tackled one by one. The first number I will tell you is the number of people who apply for this examination. 10 lakh people, or in and around that number, every year apply for this examination. 10 lakh people. But not all applications will materialize into attempt in the examination. How many people attempt in the examination? 5 lakh people on an average have been attempting in this examination in the last few years. Now 5 lakh people, are they the competition for you? Are they the competition? Are 5 lakh people the competition? If all of them are serious aspirants, then yes, 5 lakh is the competition. But that is not the case. Out of 5 lakh people, how many people get selected in prelims examination? It is 13,000 people, 12 to 13,000 people get selected in pre. Done. And how many people get selected in the main examination? 2.5 to 3,000 people. Done. And in the final list, you have around 1000 people. Now it is all ratios. It is all ratios. 1000 people. If the requirement is 1000 people, 1000 posts are available for IAS, IPS, IRS, all put together, 1000 posts are available. 1:2.5 or 2.753 is the ratio at which they make the selections in mains. 1:12.5 to 13. This is the ratio at which they make the selections in the prelims, based on how many posts there are. Done? So these are the selections that happen. But we are talking about competition. Out of 5 lakh people, how many people are actual competition? When you look at the scores of the prelims examination, out of 200, I am talking only about the general studies paper. So you know that in prelims you have both the general studies paper as well as the GS2, which is famously called CSAT, but we are supposed to call it as GS2, right? So the general studies paper, which is history, geography and all that, we are supposed to call it as GS1, and math, reasoning and English comprehension, we are supposed to call it as GS2, but famously we call it as CSAT. So according to UPSC, CSAT means both GS1 and GS2. The entire prelims examination is CSAT for UPSC. So we'll refer it to as CSAT, the second paper. CSAT we will leave aside only if we consider general studies. For people who have studied for last 1 year for this examination, out of 200, if you score 90 plus, then we say, you are qualified. UPSC says you are qualified, you can go to the main examination. On an average, this has been the score that is required. Some years it has been 95, initially it was 96, 1 year it had gone to 106 as well, but given the trend of the examination now, so 90 plus, we'll consider it as safe score. Now, you tell me, if 90 plus is something which is required, who would you consider competition who have actually put efforts? A person scoring 50, person scoring 60, person scoring 70, person scoring 80, 90. 90 people, they get selected. People who are scoring 50, are they competition? Out of 250, they have scored after studying for 1 year. Are they competition? Can we consider them to be competition? No. People who are scoring 60? No. 70 and above, we can consider them to be somewhat serious competition. Okay. 75 and above, we can consider them to be some serious competition. They have put in efforts. How many people do you think score 75 plus? 75 plus. How many people do you think will be scoring 75 plus in the first paper? Hardly. Out of 5 lakh people, it's also a big number, right? 40 to 50,000 maximum. That is also too much actually. So now our competition has reduced to how much? 40 to 50,000. Now I'll give you another metric, another way of looking at competition for the next level. Now you tell me, we know that in the main examination, how many papers are there? How many papers do we have in main examination? 9 papers we have. Out of the 9 papers, the first 2 papers, of course, are qualifying in nature. The other 7 papers are completely for merit. They consider it for merit. Your rank is dependent on these 7 papers. These 7 papers each carry 250 marks. And you have to write quite a lot. Okay, you have to write quite a lot. For this, writing practice is required. You tell me, this part is difficult or this part is difficult? Which part is difficult? Mains part. Now from prelims to mains, how many months do you have? 3 months. For prelims, once you start the preparation, for prelims, how many months you have? More than a year. Almost 1 year, 1.5 years you have. Now, first exam is prelims. Out of 40 to 50,000 people, how many do you think will be studying for mains examination from the beginning itself? How many people do you think? They will be focused more on prelims or they will be focused more on mains? Majority of the people will be focused on clearing the prelims only. How many people will be preparing for mains and prelims together? Hardly 5 to 6,000 people will be preparing that way, writing answers, doing everything. Okay. So from day one, orientation is towards the examination as a whole, not on prelims, not on mains. 5 to 6,000 people. Now, this is the most solid competition. That 40,000, 50,000, not an issue. 13,000 people who get selected in the prelims, not an issue. Out of those 13,000 people who have been selected, there are 5 to 6,000 people who are solid competition. This is where you should try to be. Not in this 13,000 people, right? Not in that 40,000 people. You have to think of being a part of this number. Clear? Okay. Now, competition does not seem big. Sir, only 5,000, 6,000 people. Not a big number. Out of them, 1,000 people get selected. So, it's easy. But why is it a big challenge? We'll see one by one. Do you know the syllabus of this examination clearly? Yes, you know the subjects that are there? You know it? Okay. So even as I take up certain aspects through, as we go through the session, at some point I am going to touch upon the subjects that are there as well, which are the important subjects as well. Okay. First, the bouncers. This examination puts. So, what are the bouncers that are there? This is the first area we are going to look into, the bouncers. The first bouncer is the unpredictable nature of questions. The unpredictable nature of questions. And this happens with the change in pattern. Change in pattern. Some years, some of the subjects, they ask many questions. The next year, the number of questions in that subject, they reduce. Okay. And also, some years, they emphasize current affairs. Certain other years, current affairs is sidelined. Understood? So, there is no fixed number of questions that are to be asked in every subject. And then, there is, despite a lot of content being generated, still it is difficult to predict where UPSC asks the questions from, especially related to current affairs. Depth is another problem, as I told you. Earlier, they used to ask scheme-based questions. Now they have stopped asking scheme-based questions. That is, what is this scheme for? What are the provisions under the scheme? They used to ask this. Now, the government has launched so many schemes, but UPSC has stopped asking questions. If you make a list properly, you will have more than 250, 300 schemes overall from all the ministries put together, all the departments. And after studying 300 schemes, you go expecting that, okay, schemes, question should come. UPSC is like, I will not ask a question at all. Or if they ask a question, they'll ask such a simple question that everybody will be able to answer. If everybody is able to answer, there is no point of that question. Understood? Fine. So one is unpredictable nature of questions, changing pattern, undefined depth. Syllabus is given, but we don't know the boundaries of the syllabus, to what extent we are supposed to study. And sources. Sources is the next problem. And what is required is, to handle this, UPSC expects you to have a living brain. This is the philosophy. A living brain. What is a living brain? It does not want, opposite of it is a dead brain, right? Or it does not want a machine which is a memory machine. It does not want a memory machine. It wants a living brain. So this living brain is the one which can always coordinate the things, coordinate the information that is presently existing. It's not the one which just processes the information in a serial manner. It does a parallel processing, a proper parallel processing. It does parallel processing. See, your computer is a serial processor. It does one task after the other. Okay? Say for example, if you ask your computer a question, how does it answer? It is going to look at the files one after the other very fast. You search for something in your computer, it is going to search for folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, one after the other continuously. Understood? On the other hand, human brains are supposed to work how? They work on parallel processing itself. It is much more required for this examination. Parallel processing as in, if I ask you a question, right? If I ask you a question, it should not take a lot of time for you to gather the information from 3-4 chapters together. Okay, to answer a question, you have to get the pointers from 3 to 4 questions, 3 to 4 chapters together at one time. And you have to do it in how much time? So you have to do it within the 1 minute. You have to process all the information from all the chapters and create an answer for it. So what is required? A living brain is required, not a memory machine. So you need not collect a lot of information and store it. Minimal information, but maximum utilization. How to do that? That happens only with revisions and understanding. So we need an understanding machine. Understanding and a parallel processing machine. So that's what a living brain concept is. To handle the bounces, this is what is required. Okay. Next. The second reason why UPSC CSE is a challenge. The nature of the examination is like a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So in a sprint, how long does it last? Probably 15 seconds, right? 10 to 15 seconds, you run 100 meters, it is done. Whereas in a marathon, you have to have a lot of stamina to run for probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes it is hours together. So UPSC CSE preparation is a marathon. So that is why do not run too fast and then stop. Do not do this mistake. That is, initially there's a lot of energy. You spend all the energy first 10 days. After that, Let me take some rest. Coming back to form is very, very difficult when you do that. Okay. So start with baby steps, small steps, but ensure that you are doing something on a daily basis. You are following the regimen, and your focus should always be to improve and increase the number of hours or number of topics you are covering per day. So the aim in this marathon is going to be retention of information as much as possible, rather than mugging up the answers. Memorization is not the key. Understanding holds the key. Think about it. You have to retain the information for over a period of 1 year. Yes? School, college, that was different. In school and college, how is it? How does it work? Do you have to remember stuff for 1 year? In college, though, you have to remember stuff only for 4 months, if I am not wrong now. Right? So they say it is a semester 6 months, but actually you remember only for 4.5 months. That's it. After that, that subject is gone. Here you are supposed to remember for over a period of 1 year. Okay. After that, you have the interview as well. That extends the time. If you have to remember for so long, rote memorization will not work. Building understanding is the only savior. Okay. Next. In order to deal with this marathon, you are going to run through phases. The preparation has to be phase-wise only. You cannot prepare like all the subjects are there. Randomly, you cannot pick and study. You have to go phase-wise. You have to build foundations, then you have to add something to it, the advanced subjects, then do the other stuff, right? Other requirements. We'll talk about it later. So phase-wise journey is required. So all throughout the marathon. Okay. So initially, you're not supposed to run too fast. Later on, you're not supposed to slow down. There's going to be an intense phase as well at some point. Okay. The next thing, there has to be a balance of your aptitude and attitude. These are the two topics which are very deeply discussed in your ethics paper as well. There needs to be a balance of what? Both your aptitude and attitude. What is aptitude? What is aptitude? Simple meaning for now is talent. Simple meaning is talent. Aptitude. Or we can say a potential skill. Potential skill. What is attitude? So do you know positive attitude, negative attitude? What is an attitude? If you have an inclination to act favorably or unfavorably towards something. So we always have some inclination. So inside us, we feel like acting positively or negatively towards something. If you have an inclination to act positively, right? you have a positive thought about them, positive thought about something. That is why you have an inclination to act favorably as well. Whenever you have such an inclination, we say you have a positive attitude. So negative attitude is opposite. So there are cases where towards certain things or certain people in our life, we also have what? Both positive and negative attitude. So we want to be favorable, but we can't be favorable. Right? So we want to be favorable as well as unfavorable at the same time. So such attitudes, we call them as ambivalent attitudes as well. Okay, so we need not go into those details. So we'll be learning in detail in ethics paper. So the skill that is required for this examination is that there are a lot of technical details about each topic. Whether you have the ability to understand those technical details, ability to understand those technical details, so this ability to understand technical details means to what extent? To what extent? Just look at the entire syllabus. We have the general studies, we have the CSAT, we'll call it as CSAT itself for now, and then we have optional. Sir, what about essay? Essay is a part of GS itself. And then we have ethics. Ethics is also part of GS. To what level should you be able to understand it? The living brain concept that we spoke of. To what level we should be able to understand things? GS, the expectation is that you should be able to understand the technical details to the level of 12th standard. GS part. So 12th standard level, content which is there, you should be able to understand it properly, proper understanding. CSAT, which is your math, reasoning and comprehension. This is to the level of 10th standard. To this level, whatever poems were there, whatever stories were there, right, in English, you should be able to understand them properly. It should make sense to you. If you have that ability, you'll be able to solve this paper. Math was there in 10th. If you're able to understand the concepts of math properly, then this paper is easy. If we have memorized formula and then solved, then this paper is going to be a bit difficult. So they are asking for whether you have the ability to understand these things. And finally, the optional paper, they want you to have the understanding of technicalities in this subject to the level of the content which is there in your what level? Graduation level. And to some extent, some of the topics of post-graduation are also added to some extent. This is the expectation UPSC has. You should have the aptitude to learn these things to this level. Clear? And what is the attitude you are supposed to have? What is the attitude you are supposed to have? The attitude you are supposed to have is one, a willingness to solve social challenges or social problems. Right? This attitude, a positive attitude towards helping others, helping the society. This is required. A positive attitude towards innovation. With innovation comes, so innovation and learning. You need to have a positive attitude towards these things. So, a positive attitude towards solving social problems, which makes you a good civil servant. A positive attitude towards innovation, which makes you come up with new solutions. A positive attitude towards learning, which means you are going to become a knowledgeable person. Right? Only with this, you will be able to innovate as well. Only with this, you will be able to solve the social problems more efficiently. Efficiently, you will be able to solve those problems. So, this is the attitude that is expected of you. This attitude you are supposed to have. A positive attitude towards these things and this aptitude. This is the requirement UPSC has. Done. Next. Does luck matter? Does luck matter? So the third area, the role of luck. What is the role of luck? Huh? So now, how right is it on our part if we don't do anything, and if we don't do anything, or initially itself, if we say it is completely luck and don't do anything, and finally if somebody clears the examination, you say it is because of their luck they cleared. Is it right? This happens because of, there are famous biases. We call them as attribution bias. What is the attribution bias? If I become successful, what is the cause of my success? So what do I attribute my success to? That's attribution. What is the bias? There is something called as fundamental attribution error. Okay. And then there is positivity bias and negativity bias. Positivity and negativity bias. So what these biases teach us? So this is a biased way of thinking and telling this is the cause. How does this work? It's a fascinating way in which it works. Like, if somebody becomes successful, success of others. When a biased person is asked, what will the biased person say? It's not because of his talent he has become successful. Why did he become successful? Because of luck. Because, his family has supported him a lot. Maybe they have bribed, right? Because of corruption. So what is this? External causes have caused that person to succeed. Now, when other person fails, failure of others, what is the cause for this? If a person fails, what does a biased person tell? So one who operates on these biases, what does that person say? Rather than him not working hard, that person is anyways useless. By birth itself, that person is like that. He is not talented. So basically you say the cause is internal. The person is lazy. Okay. Now this is about others. This is fundamental attribution error. When we are operating on positivity and negativity bias, then what happens? This is about us. Your success. What is the reason? My hard work. Your hard work. Your talent. Your failure. Why did you fail? Situation, conditions. family, friendship. My friend circle was not good. That is why. Who is the problem here? No. Who is the cause of your problem? According to you? Everyone else in the world except me. Okay. So these are called errors in attribution. These are called errors in attribution. And where does luck fall here? Where is luck here? Okay, it is an external cause. When you clear the examination, you don't say it is luck. Because you know that you have put in a lot of hard work. So, still, is there a role of luck? Is there a role of luck? Yes, there is role of luck, but only to some extent. So, where does this role of luck come into picture? Interview panels. Where is the interview panel? Last stage. And how many marks is the interview for? 275 marks. Out of 2025 marks. Right? Out of 2025 marks, 275 marks is for interview. How much variation can an interview panel cause for a candidate? How much variation can it cause? One thing is, you have performed well, you go to one board, one panel, you give the interview. One set of questions were there, you gave certain answers. Same set of questions are asked by another interview panel. You only go, right? You answer the same way. Will you get the same marks? No, you are not going to get. How much variation do you think is it going to be? By how much? 20 to 30 marks? Yes? 20 to 30 marks variation can be there. So, 20 to 30 marks luck factor is there. This is what we can attribute to luck. Not the entire interview. That is wrong. If you say that entire interview is luck, that is wrong. 20 to 30 marks is luck, acceptable. Clear? So is luck factor not there? Luck factor is there because of the subjective nature of the interview. And it is not a structured interview. What is a structured interview? Definite set of questions for every candidate. Same questions for every candidate. Then it is a structured interview. Is it a structured interview? No, it is a highly unstructured interview. That is why this variation can be there, and there is no rule for the panel that you should give good marks for such answers, no, not so good marks for such answers. No, it's not like that. Next. The second area where there can be some luck factor is also the subjectivity involved in evaluation of answers. Subjectivity involved in evaluation of your mains copies. How many marks? Mains 1750 marks. There can be some subjectivity there as well. And also, in this subjectivity, because we are talking about mains, the day matters for you. One day you are feeling good. First day of the mains examination, you are feeling good. Second day of the main examination, you are fine. Third day, you are very, very tired. Some people have high energy levels on all the 5 days. Is this not our side problem? It is a luck factor. Being energetic all 5 days, lucky, right? So some people are like that. They can be energetic for 10 days continuously. Some people are like 2 days energetic, they need a break, then again they will be energetic, very energetic. So this subjectivity is there from the candidate side as well, which is the luck factor, because we are made differently. And there is the evaluation part. However, you think about it, you write an answer for a particular question, introduction, body as well as conclusion. You have written all the points, proper representation also you have made. Okay, proper representation also you have made. That is a flow chart or a block diagram you have written. You give it for evaluation to me, you give it for evaluation to another person. Okay. Out of 10 marks, I will give you certain marks, the other person will give certain other marks. What can be the variation? So out of 10, how much is the maximum you can get? You tell me. Out of 10, what is the maximum marks you can get in UPSC answers? Mains. Usually maximum marks is 6.5. Right? 6.5. Say for example, you have written an outstanding answer. I gave 6.5. The other person also feels it is an outstanding answer. Maybe the person might give you 6. The variation is only how much? 0.5 marks. Understood? Now if I go with this calculation, 0.5 marks per answer. In a question paper, you have around 20 questions, right? 20 questions into 12.5 marks. Each question you have lost 0.5 marks, but you will have also gained in other questions. Maybe for another answer, I would have given 6, the other person has given 6.5. That evens out. That almost evens out. But still, for every paper, because of evaluation, I would say 5 mark variation. 3 to 5 mark variation would be there. So if this paper evaluates, you would have gotten 3 or 4 marks or 5 marks extra. This is luck factor or not? This is also luck factor. So 5 marks, how many papers you have? 7 papers. How much? 35 marks. 35 marks is how much? How many ranks? 35 marks is 50 ranks. Simple. 50 to 60 ranks. Easily. That much difference will happen. Does it have the capacity to put you out of the competition itself? Out of the rank list itself? Look at the luck factor. Here 20, here 30. Let's say 50 marks. That is like 100 ranks, let's assume. Does it put you out of the rank list? No. It can push you down in the rank list, but it cannot put you out of the rank list. There's a difference. This is a very, very important analysis. Getting my point? So we are not supposed to ascribe anything to luck alone. Luck matters in these cases. And the contribution of luck is very, very minimal. Right? Next. I spoke about the phases a bit a while ago. Phases of preparation. How do you go about the phases of preparation? Phase 1, the first phase, is more of a wanderer phase. You are a wanderer. Who is a wanderer? Just roaming around. This is a roaming around phase. Does not mean you should be roaming around. Okay, in the wanderer phase, what are we supposed to do? We just build the foundations of various subjects. Getting the foundations right, the wanderer phase. So when we say foundations, what is foundations about? You tell me. 1. NCERTs. 2. Core subjects. 3. Start studying newspapers. 4. Explore optional. These things. This is something which you are supposed to do for the next 4.5 months. The wanderer phase for the next 4 to 4.5 months. So core subjects, NCERTs, newspaper you study, you need not make notes and all. When I say studying newspapers, don't spend more than 30 to 45 minutes on it. Why are you doing it then? Not for knowledge. You are doing it for what sake? So you are doing it to get adjusted to the linguistics or the linguistic methodology used by UPSC, the terminologies used by UPSC. You get accustomed to it. Okay. People who feel like formal English is very, very difficult. The English that comes in newspaper is very difficult. I can give it to you as a challenge. Take it as a challenge. Just do this thing for the next 3 months. Next 3 months, you're supposed to do these things, this particular thing with newspapers. First thing, you have editorials in Hindu newspaper and Indian Express. Okay? And you have explained section. 3 areas. Editorial, explained. Explained in Indian Express, editorial in the Hindu. So you just do this, that's sufficient. Along with that, first paragraph, along with headline in the Hindu. In the Hindu newspaper, you just read the first paragraph and the heading, where page 1, international page. I don't suggest you to go for business page now. Okay. First paragraph. So you read the heading, then read the first paragraph. Now, when you are doing this exercise, you have to ensure 2 things. When you are doing this exercise, you have to ensure 2 things. Every time you come across a new word, you have to stop, open the dictionary, learn the meaning, reread the sentence. Understand and then only move forward. No need to write and practice. Don't write and practice the words. So you read the spelling properly, you keep it aside, use the phone maybe or the dictionary, you search for the exact word, know the meaning, reread the sentence, then again you go to the next sentence. 2 things very, very important if you want your answers to be good. 1, the spellings and the meanings. Basically vocabulary. The day you become very, very good with vocabulary, very good with the vocabulary that comes in your Hindu newspaper and your Indian Express, I would say your 90% of the problem is solved related to language. See, if we don't understand a particular paragraph, why? And then what about the core subjects? Which are the core subjects? History, geography, polity, economy, environment. These are the core subjects. Focus is to learn and master these core subjects. Build the foundations of all these subjects. Because all the other subjects that we are going to learn are on the basis of these itself. We can say kind of extensions of these subjects. If you have solid knowledge of these subjects, studying other subjects becomes relatively easier. And then you have NCERTs. Not all NCERTs are required. We'll tell you which NCERTs to study, which NCERTs not to study. Okay. Some of the NCERTs, while they are famous, they are not required. Okay. Next. The next phase. The next phase is kind of a tapasya phase. It is a tapasya phase. So we can say it is the second gear. You have to get into the second gear. It is a intense phase, relatively more intense phase. So after 3 to 4 months, so we are talking about the month of May, June time. So you have to start picking up. Here, rest of GS will come into picture. You have to start your optional. Right? And you have to now study current affairs as well. You have to now study current affairs as well, properly. So you have to add references basically. Adding references. So the number of sources increased now. Okay? Because current affairs is a big source. You have just added a new source now. So this is going to be one of the longest phases. So almost spanning for 6 to 8 months. And this is when you write your answers as well. Answer writing mastery. By the end of this phase, you should be comfortably be able to write 3 hours continuously and complete the paper. You should have the ability to complete one paper by the end of this phase. What is the time period I am talking about? This is the time we are in the January of 2027. By Jan 2027, you should have this ability. Understood? You should have the ability to write 3 hours continuously, complete the paper. Yes? Right. Next. The final phase is the enlightenment phase. The enlightenment phase. This phase is when you get newer understanding to whatever you have studied. You have studied everything. This is the time when you get newer understanding, newer approaches you come up with. So, new understanding, new perspectives about topics, and this happens with revisions. which are going to be intense revisions. Here the number of hours are going to go beyond 10. Here the number of hours are going to go beyond 10. This is the 4-month period I am talking about. The 4-month period. When? From January to May. From January to May, this period. The enlightenment period. This period will have revisions and tests. Test series, which is going to be an intense one. Do we have a test series here as well? Yes, here also there will be a test series. Okay, during the tapasya phase also you have the test series. Not as intense. Here it's going to be more intense. To give you an understanding, during this phase you have the test series which is called as LEAP. Legacy Elite Endeavor Program, which is a weekly test. Here during the enlightenment phase, the test series you are going to have is the EDGE series, which is almost a daily test. Almost a daily test with briefings. So every day, so in a week, 7 days, out of 7 days, you have 5 days test. 4 days you have smaller tests. The 5th day, you are going to have a very big test, right? So entire day you are going to have a test based on whatever you have learnt in that week. So these are the phases. So we are supposed to divide it accordingly. Now, remember this, till the month of January, till the month of Jan 2027, we are in a phase where we are just learning. Our aim is to accumulate knowledge, understand concepts. This is our aim. Our aim is not yet to clear the exam. Our aim is not to clear the exam till January 2027. Jan 2027 is when you decide that, okay, I have to crack this examination. The goal becomes clearer now. Till that point, you're just exploring, you're learning, you're accommodating, you're just assimilating the knowledge. But Jan 2027, you decide, okay, 5 months away, these are the things I am supposed to do. This is what I am supposed to do to increase the score. So exam-oriented preparation for maximizing the marks will start at this point. Clear? Next. Next we'll come to the sources. Sources. Which book to study for which subject we'll learn later. We'll have a book list class separately. Now we are talking about how we deal with the sources in general. We are going to go with a max 3 formula. And you are going to stick to this formula till the end. A max 3 formula. For every subject, max 3. 3 sources only, maximum 3 sources per subject. Maximum. So what are these maximum 3 sources? Any subject you take. The exception is optional. So you have to mention except optional. For optional, it can go beyond 3. The first source is going to be class notes. The second source, what is the second source? NCERT. Third source, one standard book. Now this book we will tell you. Or if you feel like, okay, this is not fine, I'll go with another book. Go with that book, don't make a shift. If you choose one book, you are going to stick with that book only till the end. Don't change in the middle. That institute is providing this material, this institute is providing another material. Don't do that. So when I say standard book, it can be institute material, or it can be what? It can be a proper printed one, a printed book, a published book. Printed published book or some institute material. If you are taking that, stick to that. Don't use anything else. Class notes, NCERT, one standard book. That's it. Then you have current affairs. What to do about current affairs? Current affairs. What to do with this? There are many sources. In your newspaper class, there is going to be a newspaper class. How to deal with the newspaper. Discussion will be done in depth related to current affairs there. How to deal with the current affairs. So you'll remember this Max 3 formula. Everybody does a mistake here. You start one book you are studying, somewhere in between you felt this book is difficult because you are not able to remember. Then somebody will tell this book is easier, this material is easier, it is to the point, study. The problem with to the point studies is that we will not understand things. It looks easy, but retention is not good. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? We'll stick to this formula, Max 3 formula. Okay, next. So when you stick to Max 3 formula, you will not become a book collector. You will become the actual collector. Otherwise, you will become a book collector. Remember this, Lakshmikant may not be available. There is no guarantee UPSC is asking only from Lakshmikant. There might be other book. Constitution book is available. UPSC is asking from Constitution. Newspapers are available. UPSC is asking from famous newspapers only. So in order to maintain that equity, UPSC asks mostly from easily accessible resources. Paid version of your paid versions of some of the magazines. UPSC does not ask questions. Simply will be wasting money. Okay. So when we have the sources like this, it serves a very important purpose. Time is a limited resource. Do you agree? Time is a very limited resource. Be it from the perspective of age, there's a limit. Be it from the perspective of the attempt you are going to take, there's a limit. If we are talking about your attempt, you have 1.5 year time. Give or take, it's going to be 1 year and 4 months or 5 months time. So 1 year, 4.5 months time you have. From here to here, if I say it is 1 year, 4 months time, and this is the midpoint. If I mark out January 2026 here, 2027 here, by this time you should be able to complete all the syllabus and remaining time should be available for revision. When we go with 3 source formula, 3 max formula, we will be able to complete our syllabus by here. You will be able to complete, you will have done 1 revision also. If you are sticking with only those 3 sources per subject. On the other hand, you think about it. After this, you will be able to, when you go for intense revision, no, you will be able to make at least 2-3 revisions easily in this period. Okay? Which means you will have a better understanding. More revisions means better understanding. Less revisions, one, you don't remember, also you don't have a proper understanding. You have a simple, what, unidimensional understanding of a topic. When you have done only one study and you don't even retain the information. So for both retention plus better understanding and newer understanding, what do we need? We need revisions. More the revisions, better it is. Okay. If I increase the source for some subjects only, so 3 max is there, with 3 max I am able to complete here. For 3-4 subjects, what I'll do is, no, I don't like this particular book, I will start a new book. When I do that, what will happen to this point? It will keep getting shifted. Just by adding one book, to complete one book, how many days do you require? To complete one book which runs into somewhere around 350-400 pages. On an average, you study somewhere around 40-50 pages, let's say. 40-50 pages, you have other things to study also, right? So 40-50 pages if you are studying, maybe you are going to take 10 days, 10-12 days minimum requirement. 5 subjects, new books, 50 days. 50 days is 2 months. You have just reached March. When is the prelims examination? You have it in the month of May. This is August for main examination. Within this short period of time, will you be able to revise all the stuff that you have done previously? It's impossible. That is why when you ask some of the students, some of the people who are writing this examination, they'll tell you that 20 days is left for the examination. When you talk to them, they say, my first reading has been complete, second reading I have just started. When they are 15 days away from the examination. 3-4 subjects I have studied second time, but other subjects I have not been able to study the second time. Second time I have to start now. So 20 days away from the examination, you are doing this. Why did this happen? Because of this, where you have added sources in between. Clear? So don't commit that mistake. See, when you are in the middle phase, okay, when you are in the middle phase, in the tapasya phase, you don't really realize it. You would be feeling like this subject I have to master it. Okay. So the source that I have studied covers 80% of the content. Another 20% is not there in this book. Where will I get this 20%? There is another book. Somebody told you there is another book. In this book, 90% of the content is there. Still 10% is not there. 90% of the content is there. Now what will you do? You will make a switch. When you make a switch like this, what would happen? One, the clarity of thought is gone. You could have utilized the time for revision. Time is lost. And it becomes burdensome. Towards the end, you feel like I have to study this also, which means revision becomes much more difficult. Clear? So stick to the max 3 formula and just focus on only class notes and this material, right? The standard book you choose. Next. If you want to master the relevant content, so next is content mastery. Content mastery for this examination. If you want to really master the content for this examination, 2 things are like compass for you. They're the compass. They are like the compasses. These are the ones which give you direction. See, without a compass, you will not be able to go anywhere. Your Google Maps also will not work. Just like that, you will be directionless if you don't have these two compasses. What are the two compasses? Can you guess? Very good. PYQs, previous year questions. And two, what is the second one? Two things. We say it is mapping the syllabus. In the back of your head, you should have the syllabus in your mind. Say, if I ask you, where is Naxalism mentioned in your syllabus? Where is Naxalism mentioned in your syllabus? You should be able to tell, okay sir, under this subject, this paper, this topic. Where all do you get Naxalism as a topic in your syllabus? You should be able to tell, okay sir, it is a main topic here and in other subjects also it is mentioned. Which subjects? Which topics it is there? If you are able to do that, then you have the compass right. Understood? And remember, all of it comes only with revision. All of this comes only with revision. And remember living brain? This is how living brain works. Naxalism comes in history. Right? Naxalism, we talk about Naxalism again, where? In society. We talk about Naxalism, where? Again in internal security challenges. It is a topic. Naxalism can be picked up again in governance issues. Okay. So 4 or 5 areas we have where Naxalism is spoken of. So what is this? Having a very good understanding of the syllabus. And the second thing is PYQs. This is like a guide light, proper guide light. I would say PYQs of both pre and mains. You should have done at least 3 revisions, 3 visits of these PYQs should be done. One, you get to understand the language used by UPSC in their questions. 2, you will also get an idea as to what are the most frequently asked areas. You will clearly now know, the moment you keep visiting the PYQs, no, you get to understand, okay, in the syllabus, where is it I need to focus mostly on? See, this analysis we will do. But still, if you are doing the revision of these topics on your own, PYQs on your own, you will get better insights. You will get a better understanding of the examination and the approach you need to take. We will do the analysis, but still I would suggest you to do on your own 3 to 4 times. Okay, maybe you get better ideas. Who knows? Agreed? So these are what? The compasses. So in this regard, what we have done is, for pre and mains, what we have done? Pre-PYQs, you have tests based on topics. Last 20-year questions have been segregated according to chapters. And after the completion of a chapter, it will be available in your portal. There you can solve. Once you solve, you will get the answers as well. Explanations will be there. You can study the explanation. And you can revisit the same PYQs again and again. Chapter wise, topic wise, every time you do the revision, go to the PYQs. Have a look at them. Right? Going with the PYQs year-wise is bit difficult. I understand. Why? Because you have studied only 3 chapters. Now when you open the PYQs, where are the questions related to that chapter? It's difficult to find. Clear? So with topic-based PYQs that is available to you, this makes your life much more easier. This segregation makes life much more easier. And for the mains also, what we have done is we have created workbooks. You have 5 workbooks available, and last 10-year papers, 10-year PYQs mains. What we have done is we have again segregated it according to topics. Based on the syllabus that is there in your mains examination, topic wise we have segregated. Let's say, for example, if I am talking about architecture, is a topic. On architecture, in the last 10 years, how many questions have come? We have put them together and we call it a workbook because architecture section, there are, let's say, 6 questions asked in the last 10 years. We have given the question. Soon after the question, we have provided a box in which there are keywords to assist you to write an answer. And then you have 2 empty pages where you can actually write the answer. Okay. With this, what happens? You have all the PYQs at one place, section wise, subject wise. After the completion of a chapter, let's say architecture chapter is completed. What do? PYQ analysis of prelims you do, and then PYQ analysis of mains. Write 2 or 3 answers. Your work is done. Getting my point? So this is the approach you are supposed to do. These are the guiding lights. And syllabus has to be on your fingertips. Everything. Every subject. What is that? See, it's not a big deal. Provided you spend, some time on it. On a daily basis. Okay? Next. Next. Some skills you need to develop. Essential skills. Essential skills that we need to develop during the preparation. The first essential skill. I don't know if you have it right now, but this is very, very important. Active recall. Whether you have used this method, used this skill, developed this skill or not, I do not know. But this is very, very essential. What is active recall? What is active recall?
Bring information back to memory.
You bring it back to the working memory, right? So, but why is it called active recall? That is just recall. Why is it called active recall?
This is certain time in which it remains active. After that, if
you need to be able to answer according to the situation, immediately recall it.
Okay.
flashcards.
That is memory recall after a particular period of time. Active recall is more about a technique that we use while revising stuff. Okay, while revising stuff, we use this technique. So, active recall involves just closing the book after the chapter, or a page, or a paragraph, and then try to just recall what it is. Okay, doing it every time. This is a skill. Many times what we do, You read the entire chapter, chapter done, happy, we'll go forward. Till you do this, you will not have questions to ask. Only when we start doing this, one topic I take, I read the entire topic, close the book and try to recall, what is this topic? What understanding do I have now? Once you start doing this, automatically questions will come. Right? Because when you try to understand something, there will be gaps. Hey, how is this connected to this? Questions will arise. And active recall helps you come up with new questions. When you answer these new questions, knowledge gaps get filled. When the knowledge gaps get filled, whatever gap is there in your knowledge, when it gets filled, you have a clearer understanding. When you have a clearer understanding, you will be able to recall after a longer period of time as well. So knowledge gaps, once they are filled, you get clarity. Clarity of thought would be there. When you have clarity of thought, you will not forget. You think about it. The things you have learned properly, with meaning, in your life, you will not forget them at all. Yes or no? The things which you have mugged up, maybe even one day later you will not be able to recall. 2-3 days, it's gone. Right? This is the approach you are supposed to take, active recall. It might be time consuming, but it is worth it. So this method is time consuming, but it is worth it. Right? Do not force your brain. Do not force your brain to do what? To retain information. Like what? Reading the same thing again and again continuously. I'm not going to leave this chapter. I'll read 10 times. No, it will not work. Instead, use what? This method. So if per chapter is not working, try per page, try per topic, or try per paragraph even. That is also fine. Next. Scientifically, we say this active recall is more like elaborative rehearsal. It is an elaborative technique. We are just trying to elaborate whatever we are learning, trying to give more meaning to it. And that happens only with active recall. Done? The next tool or skill that's going to help you do the active recall after some period of time is consolidated note making. Consolidated note making. Different people have different opinions to this. They have different opinions. So even if you ask multiple faculties, multiple mentors, right, they are going to have different opinions about note making. I'll give you my opinion related to consolidated note making. I find it very, very easy, also as to speak. It aids your preparation a great deal. A consolidated note making. What is a consolidated note making? I'll go with a simple formula. We'll go into the details. When I take up your next class, probably related to your book list class, I'll be talking about note making in detail. The simple understanding of this is that any subject I have 3 sources, correct? We are going with the max 3 source. All the 3 sources will talk about the same topics, same chapters. Now, if I take chapter 1, the chapter 1 put together from all the sources will run into how many pages? Let's say it is going to run into some 60 pages. My simple rule here is that I will reduce it to 20%. My notes will be 20 pages. Sorry, 20%. 20% of 60 is 12 pages. My notes will be only 12 pages. A consolidated notes from all the three sources. Topic wise, I have done it. What is the purpose of this? Now I need not open all the three sources. One source, I will keep it open. That is my 12 pages. I will try to recall. So when I try to recall, if I am not able to recall something, what will I do? I'll open the book and I'll see. It's done. So second time, this might be problematic. Third time, your problem is solved. You just have to study 12 pages. Think about it. Studying 12 pages is easier or 60 pages is easier? See, 12 pages is easier. And remember, when a question is asked on this particular topic, your brain need not do what? Searching of 60 pages. It has to do searching of what? Only 12 pages. Which is more efficient for the brain? For the brain, 12 pages is more efficient. That is why consolidated note making is important. This is consolidation. Three sources, one place. Whether it is time consuming, very time consuming. But is it worth it? Worth every minute you spend on it. When I say there is one more advantage of this. What is one more advantage of this? You study current affairs as well later on. Current affairs, if I study one entire topic of current affairs, if it runs into 100 lines of current affairs, one topic, out of 100 lines, how many points do you think you would require for your prelims and mains examination, which is not there in your 12 pages? These 12 pages are there. Related to this chapter itself, current affairs has come, right? Barring these 12 pages, how much extra content you may find in it? I don't think you would be able to find more than 3 to 4 lines. Related to this chapter, something has come in news. And when I study that entire 100 lines, I come to understand, okay, 3 to 4 lines are important. Rest of the stuff is there in 12 pages already. Now, if I am able to add these 1, 2 lines, these 3, 4 lines, I will be able to reduce it to 1, 2 lines. Just keywords I will write. Topic I will write, keywords I will write. Done. So every time I take out these 12 pages, I also have a connect to the current affairs. When a question is asked in your mains examination, I will write content along with that update of current affairs is easier now. Per month, how many topics do you get in current affairs? Do you have an idea? Any idea you have in how many topics you get in current affairs every month? Let's go with understanding of, let's say every month you are getting some 80 to 80 topics every month. 80 topics you are getting in current affairs every month. How many months do you need? 15 months current affairs. Tell me how many 15 into 80? 15 8s are? How much is it? 120. 120. 1200 topics are there. Yes? 1200 topics. What are you supposed to do? You have to fit in into these consolidated notes. Just the topic name and 1 or 2 keywords. It's just like a link. Right? More details will be there in current affairs book. But if you have added a link, every time you open this, try to revise, you will be able to recall, oh, this current affairs I had studied. It is related to that. Enhances your understanding, one place knowledge. Clear? So this is what you are supposed to do when it comes to consolidated note making. Clear? This is the second essential skill. Right. For this one, this part, I would always suggest you to use A4 sheets for this part. Consolidated note making, use A4 sheets. Don't try to keep notebooks for this. Notebooks for writing the class notes. Use A4 sheets for this. This is something which I would prefer. Why A4 sheets? Let's say, you have made 12 pages and later on you came to understand that something current affairs has come in, very, very important current affairs, right? And very new topic. Where will you put it? Where will you put it? You will not be able to put anywhere. So you have to add one page in between. So adding of pages is possible with A4 sheets. You will not be able to do it with what? With your notes. That is why I would prefer A4 sheets. Chapter by chapter for every subject. Consolidation. The advantage, there is one more advantage internally. Internally, you feel a sense of achievement when you do this. You are doing it, most of the people are not doing it. You feel like, okay, I am doing something great. See, material you are finding, no? Your own created material. That feeling pushes you to do more. When you have not done anything, just written notes, notes is lying there, everybody has notes. Yes, textbooks are there, everybody has textbooks. 27 hours you are supposed to write over a period of 5 days. So 4 days you are supposed to write 6 hours each, 1 day 3 hours. Okay, 4 days 6 hours each, 1 day 3 hours. The writing speed that's required, you tell me how much is the writing speed. We'll calculate that so that it becomes clearer for you. You have a calculator? Yes, you have a calculator? Open the calculator. Let's count it. 10 marks. How many words you are supposed to write for a 10 marker? 150 words? 150 words. It is 150 words. 150 words you are supposed to write. Now, 250 marks. How many words? 10 marks, 150. 100 marks? 1500. 200 marks? Another 1000. 3000. Another 50 marks? 750. 3750 words total. This is what you are supposed to write. We are going with the numbers. 3750 words in 3 hours total. Per hour, how many words did we calculate? Per hour we did not calculate, right? No. So 3750 divided by how many minutes we have? 180 minutes, right? 3 hours. How many words? Do it. 20? 21 words. 21 words. Now, it's easy to say it is 21 words per minute. This should be your speed. Correct? But think about it. Think about it. How many questions are there? 20 questions. For each question, don't you think we have to spend some time on thinking as well? We have to spend some time on thinking. And also, there should be some time for us to review some of the answers. Writing the roll number maybe. Okay. So even if we remove all those things, on an average, we can take 1 minute per question. So some extra time. Somewhere we will be stopping in between. Right? So 20 minutes is gone. So effectively how many? Now tell me. 3750 by 160. How much is it? 23. So it would be safe for us to say 24 to 25 words per minute. This is the speed required. So 24 to 25 words per minute. The speed is required. Done. Sir, why do we need thinking so much? So we will be having a living brain, right? So we need not think that much. We'll be able to write. But still, you need to plan your answer. In order to plan an answer, when you are planning an answer, you have to think about one more aspect of answer writing, which is the visuals, the visual plan. What is a visual plan? It's about what flowchart am I going to write? Or do I have to add a diagram here? Some sort of representation to make my answer look beautiful. This planning is required. It takes time. Visualizing your answer to some extent. Not all 20. Out of 20, at least some 7-8 questions, you have drawn some visualization. Maybe something like this, a pie chart maybe, or a flow chart maybe. Right? Something. You have to visualize it. So these, sir, can we keep them ready? You can keep them ready when you are making the short notes. I told you consolidated note making, no? When you are making the consolidated note making itself, if you have gotten this ready, it becomes easier for you to bring it into your answer. Clear? Next. So this is about answer writing skill. The fourth skill. Unique presentation skill. Whether you have the skill to present your thoughts uniquely or not. This is a skill. Because is everyone going to study the same books? So if I take 100 people, out of 100 people, I would say at least 95, 96 people would be studying the same books, which are available in the market. They'll be studying the same books. Some famous books are there, standard books, they'll be studying the same. Can we expect most of the people who are writing the mains examination to have written similar answers? Content will be similar because they have studied from the same place. Just a second, sorry. So the unique presentation skill. So what is this about? Because everybody will be studying from the same source, most of their answers will also be the same. Content will be the same. So initially I asked you one question, out of 10, how much maximum marks you can get? You said, 6, 5. Sir, if I write every point, why am I not getting 10? See, all our lives in your college school, when you wrote an answer, if all points are there, they'll give you 10 out of 10. But here they are not giving. Why are they not giving? They don't find any difference between you and the next candidate. Right? That is why, sir, are there questions where you get 8, 9 as well? Maybe it is possible. When? An evaluator gets 10 papers. Out of 10 papers, 9 people have not been able to even attempt the question. Because it is a difficult question. By chance, only you have studied it. By chance. And only you have answered it. And the majority of your answer is correct. Not completely, but majority of the part is correct. Now will you get 9? Will you get 9 or not? You will get 9. Yes, 8, 9 is possible in such scenarios. Clear? You're getting my point? Okay. So, if in normal questions also, if you have to maximize marks, what am I supposed to do? I have to present my answer differently. I have to present a correct answer in a different manner. That's what I am supposed to do. So what is this? Unique presentation skill. Done? Okay. Next. There are certain subjects which are important. So if we deep dive, let's take a deep dive into some subjects or the subjects which we need to deep dive into. The first subject is your optional. Optional subject has how much marks? How many marks? 500 marks. It's a rank decider. This subject is a rank decider. You have to deep dive into it. Go deeper into this subject. You have to do your own research to some extent. That is why always choose an optional on the basis of your interest. Otherwise, why I am asking you to research, sir, material is not available. Material is available. Classes will be done. But beyond that also, if you add something from your end, your answers, when you present it in your answers will be slightly unique from the other person. That gives you an edge. Clear? Yes? That is one. The second one, which is a subject where you have to go deeper, is essay. Essay, which is about 250 marks. When I say deep dive here, it's about structuring your essays. You have to come up with templates. If such a kind of essay is asked, this is how I am going to write an answer. How many pages do you have to write in an essay? How many pages? Rather than pages, I would say words. So you are supposed to write minimum 1000 words per topic. 1000 to 1200 words you are supposed to write per topic. Imagine this. 125 marks per essay, you have to write 2 essays like this. Some 8-10 years ago, it was not like this. How was it back then? One topic, 2000 words. A single topic. So when I say 1000 words, it is 10 pages. 10-12 pages you are supposed to write. When it is 2000 words, 20 pages on a single topic. Now life is a bit easier, okay, because you have to write 2 essays. Now deep dive means you should be knowing most of the GS subjects and bring the knowledge from almost all the GS subjects into this. Right? So 2 subjects you have to be very, very thorough with. And the third subject is ethics. Ethics alone carries 250 marks. You just think about it, these 3 subjects are together contributing to 1000 marks. 250, 250, 500. 1000 marks. 1000 marks out of 1750. What is the rest 750? Your general studies, which is what you have studied for prelims examination. We have studied for prelims examination. The content that we have studied for prelims examination, the contribution of it, the knowledge that we have gained in prelims will help us in mains examination only to the tune of 750 marks. Rest 1000 marks is going to be dependent on how deeper we dive into these subjects. Clear? Done. So ethics, you have 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A is theory, part B is application or case studies. Theory and application, case studies. In this, where we are supposed to spend a lot of time, or regularly we are to spend time on application, solving case studies. As many case studies as possible we need to keep solving. Okay, done. Next.
When you start this deep diving, like is it from day one or like from
No, it's going to be later. All these subjects come later. Later. So during your what phase? The tapasya phase or the intense phase. That's when you get these subjects. Till that point, you need not worry much. Okay. Fine. This is all about what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. And then we are going to have a thing about the discipline you need to have, the psychological discipline, I would say. What discipline is required for this examination? This is the last part. You tell me, human psychology is that we always fall prey to planning fallacy. There is something called as planning fallacy. What is a planning fallacy? What is a planning fallacy? It's just that we plan always in such a manner that we are not able to achieve. Why? We have wrong expectations of ourselves. Impractical mindset. Like what? Lakshmikant, Indian polity. I like this subject. It runs into 800 pages. 2 days I will complete it. What is this? It is absolutely impractical. Done. So, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to be practical in our planning. And one more thing is about when we plan for a very long time, are there chances of success in executing the plan? Very long term plan. Jaise ki, you are starting today. You sit down today and you decide, okay, for the next 1.5 years, I will have a timetable. Will it work? Why will it not work? Any mishap somewhere in between is going to obstruct the entire plan. Entire plan goes waste. Right? That is why what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to have short-term goals, action plans, and plans which do not go beyond 1 month. So I am going to have a daily discipline, a weekly discipline, and a monthly discipline. That's it. I'm going to plan daily, weekly, and monthly. If you want, you can add one more, a fortnightly one as well. What is a fortnightly? 15 days. A 15-day plan as well. So what is a daily discipline? What is a weekly discipline? Daily discipline is just that rather than 8, I would say 9 to 11 hours regimen I am going to have. On an average, 9 to 11 hours. Some days 11 hours, some days 9 hours. So average it, it should be 10 hours. This much time I will spend on studying. Still you are left with 14 hours. That's a lot of time. 14 hours is a lot of time. You're not doing anything else. 14 hours, what are you doing? What are you doing in the rest 14 hours? Eating, sleeping, and all the other activities. Sleeping, how many hours do you sleep? At least do you do that properly? In 14 hours, if you sleep 8 hours, that's going to be very, very good for you. If you are able to sleep for 8 hours, 7 hours to 8 hours sleep, very good. Right? Some people say, sir, what I am doing is, I want to study, no? That is why I am cutting down on sleeping. Fine, you cut down on sleeping. If you cut down on sleeping, then these 10 hours should be somewhere around 14 hours or 12, 13 hours. Are you doing that at least? See, any loss in this should be an addition here, not an addition elsewhere. Not an addition to Instagram, not an addition to your Facebook, not an addition to YouTube, not an addition to movies. That addition should be only here. Then yes, it is going to be contributing to your success. So many people, what they do, they spend most of the time on other activities and then say, I have to study, that is why I will not sleep properly. That is not right. So daily discipline is that this 9 to 11 hours daily discipline. Okay. The second discipline, daily discipline you are going to have is, if I attend the class, I will ensure that the revision of the class, whatever I learned on that day itself, it is compulsory. No matter what, there is some program, some function, I don't care. This I will complete, then I will go happily. Revision of that day's class on that very day. Consolidation on that very day. If you start doing from day one, no, it will not be burden. If you leave it for 15 days and after 15 days if you start, it is going to become burdensome. From day one, I will start my consolidation also. Consolidation is what? Today, we have handled Harappan civilization in the class. What will I do? Harappan civilization in class notes is there. What is the standard book? I'll open the standard book. NCERT also, Harappan civilization is there. All three places, I'll study. If I want to go to the function, okay, I'll mark it somewhere that notes, consolidated notes has not been prepared. Once I come back, my first priority is what? Consolidation of this part, which I have not done. You think about it. Harappan civilization, for the chapter to be completed, it takes 2 days. The entire chapter runs into somewhere around 60 pages, all sources put together. In 2 days, can I not write 6 plus 6 pages? I should be able to do it. Then why are most of the people not able to do it? Why? Because they don't start doing it from day one. That is why they are not able to do it. They start pretty late. That's when it becomes difficult. Clear? Next. So this should become more like a robotic routine. You're a robot. Every day you keep doing the same thing. A robotic routine. Every single day, same routine. And when this routine, over a period of time, it's going to become your discipline. That's what discipline is also all about. Discipline is just about doing the boring work. For others, it looks boring, but for you, it is discipline. A robotic discipline. Done? Next. What to do weekly, what to do fortnightly, what to do monthly. Weekly, what are we supposed to do? Every week, on Saturday or Sunday, you get the timetable. Okay? Saturday or Sunday, you get the timetable. Based on the timetable, you will get to understand whether you have 3 hours class or 6 hours class. So one of the days you might have 3 hours class. So on Saturday or Sunday itself, you should plan next week. Okay, on these days I am going to study these subjects. Any which ways 1-2 hours I am going to spend on what? Whatever has been taught in the class. Rest 2 hours, what am I going to do? Plan it. Which subject am I going to study? Which chapter I am going to study? Spend time and do it. This is a weekly routine. Every week you have to plan what? For the next week. If you have a plan of going somewhere on one day, 2 hours, 3 hours is gone. You plan accordingly. On that day you will not feel bad at least. On that day you will not have two minds. Should I go? Should I not go? If I go, what to do about this? You will not have this thought. If you want to go somewhere full heart, you can go. Right? You are very clear. Done. Fortnightly, you can do the review. A review discipline. A review discipline, whether I have been able to meet the targets or not. Daily targets have I been able to meet? And also weekly targets have I been able to meet? 15 days once, along with the review, you can always add a mentorship session. Ensure that you meet one of the mentors every 15 days once and show them your progress. You can come weekly as well, but 15 days once is fine. And monthly, today, if you are starting, in the next 1 month, where do I need to stand with respect to certain subjects? These subjects are running. Okay, with these subjects, I should have completed 50%, 25%, 30% of this subject. You set a target. Not a very, solid target, this one. These chapters I am going to complete this much percentage of the subject should be done. So very broad target you set for monthly. Don't set very, very clear targets for a month. It's very difficult to achieve. If you miss somewhere, you will come under pressure. Done. So what is this? A discipline that you are going to build for every day, every week, every month, fortnightly. Clear? Yes? Next. In order to be disciplined, one most important that is required is motivation. How many types of motivation are there? 2 types of motivation are there. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. What is extrinsic motivation? You are getting the motivation from outside. Like, I will become an officer, that is why I'll study. This is extrinsic motivation. Okay, I'll get power, that is why I'll study. Extrinsic motivation. I'll get a bike, that is why I'll study. Extrinsic motivation. So if you are working for a reward, if you are driven by a reward to do something, then it is extrinsic motivation. What about intrinsic motivation? I am studying, I am doing something for the love of it, because it is enjoyable. I am following this routine because from inside I feel good. That is why I am doing this. Right? There are two types of people who go to gym. One person who goes to the gym for what sake? To make a body, to look nice. Understood? There is another person who goes to the gym for what purpose? Because he likes going to gym. Now tell me, long term, who is going to maintain a healthy life? The person who goes with what? The liking. The person who is going with the love for it is the person who has intrinsic motivation. Right? That is why I told you, for this discipline, intrinsic motivation is the key. No matter how much other people tell you, right? The motivation should not be from outside. The motivation should be from inside to do these things. You should approach us. You should ask us, like, sir, this is what I am doing. What else am I supposed to do? What suggestions do you want to give? This is where I stand right now, right? In order to facilitate this, to make you feel a bit more motivated, right? To, give you that sense of achievement. I told you already one thing, you have to prepare short, consolidated notes. That gives you enough push from inside. Hey, this is wonderful. Let me do more. This is one. The other one is to boost your intrinsic motivation. It's just that you have to feel good about what you are doing, right? Ticking the boxes is always something which feels good. When you have completed something, if you just mark it, you feel, this is wonderful. I have done this. For this, we have created profiles for every student. We create profiles for every student. It will take some time, 15-20 days, you will get that. In those profiles, you just have to mark whether you have completed the task or not related to a particular chapter. Even as you mark it, percentage progress will be tracked. When you are getting a percentage progress for each subject, each chapter, you will feel like, okay, I have already done 50%, another 20% let me achieve in the next 1 month. That becomes a push internally. See, these are internal standards. Internal standards you are setting for yourself. Nobody else is setting the standards. You are setting the standard. I have reached 50, let me reach 70 in the next 1 month. And once you achieve it, you will feel that sense of achievement. You will feel good. This is the kind of motivation that is required for this examination. Right? The motivation that you get from outside, like somebody comes and tells you, hey, you will become that, you will become this, you are outstanding. All of this works only for 3 days. This is the fuel that needs to keep burning within you. Okay? Next. Facts about this exam, psychological facts of sort. Once you start preparing for this examination, if you are a serious aspirant, serious candidate, if you are, you will face all these problems, psychological problems, psychological issues that you encounter while you prepare for this examination. Relationships start feeling distant. You'll feel like relationships are becoming distant because family time is cut, time with friends is gone, and because of this you feel like relationships are not there in my life. You sense isolation, at least in the initial period. Psychologically you feel isolated. I am alone kind of feeling. Everybody feels it, right? So some people just fall prey to it and revert back to the normal living because they can't take it, right? All your friends are moving on with their lives. You are the only one who is back. Others are all, they are taking up jobs, they are doing something else, right? You feel like I am not doing anything. I am stuck with this. This feeling will come. Overcoming all these things itself is what the preparation for this examination. The preparation for this examination is not just about knowledge. The fight is not just about acquiring knowledge. The fight is also about acquiring yourself. Okay? When you are a serious aspirant, you are going to have a very small group. You are going to cultivate a small group. You are not going to have a very big group of friends. Your social circle will be smaller. When I say a small group, I don't think it will go beyond 3 to 5. 3 to 5 people. A small group of individuals who are directed towards a goal. When you have a friends group of 10, you are not a serious aspirant. 3 to 5 people who are goal directed. You know, highest productivity is found in groups which are smaller. When you have a small group, the productivity is highest. You tell me, there is a small company which has 20 employees. There is another company which has 2000 employees. Okay. Obviously, this 20% company revenue will be lesser. So revenue is, let's say, 10 CR. This one may be some 300, 500 crore, let's say. 500 crore, 600 crores is there. Now, per person when you look at it, see, it is also about, sir, by that measure also they have earning a lot. But per person contribution, where is it highest? Because they are all goal directed. Productivity will be higher when the group is smaller. Remember this, don't try to build bigger groups. Have smaller group and people who are having similar mindset, like goal directed behavior. Goal is what? We have to complete. You are in the same class. In the same class means same classes are being done, right? Same topics will be covered. So sit down together, 2-3 people, a plan for the next week. End of the week, we are going to have a discussion about it. About what? About these topics, because these chapters will be done by then. So this is how you are supposed to proceed. Next. A serious aspirant will never neglect health. You'll never neglect health. So accept it. Accept that you are taking the help. But you have to be honest in your preparation. Then only you taking help means something. It should not be leaving off. Right? It should be more like if you are taking the help, accept it and make sure this help is actually being used, which means be honest in your preparation. Okay? Clear? Anything else you want to ask? You can ask. Anything? So you're going to get all these feelings. That is why I have told you initially itself. You'll get the feeling like this is not going to work, right? I'm going to give up. You'll get those feelings. When do you get these feelings? You'll get those feelings when you don't start working from day one. Start working from day one, you'll enjoy it. I'm very, very sure every person in this world will enjoy knowledge, provided it is not seen as a burden. Right? Some people say ignorance is bliss. Yes, it is not applicable to knowledge. Ignorance is bliss when you ignore things that are not required. Then it is bliss. Okay. So, one of the highest values, see, I want to tell you this thing. This is philosophy, this kind of philosophy. Ultimate happiness. Where is it? Where is ultimate happiness? So, one of the philosophers said that we can find ultimate happiness. Different species have, every species has its own way of feeling happiness, right? The ultimate happiness for each of the species is different. And where they get from is also different. For example, when we look at animals, almost all the animals, what is their speciality compared to humans? Humans and animals, right? Broad categories. What is the speciality of animals compared to humans? Animals, the most important thing about animals is their sense organs. Majority of their work, majority of their survival is dependent on one or the other sense organ. So, sense organs is their faculty, main facility they have. Right? Dogs, ears very sharp, eyes sharp. Cheetah, its ability, motor skills, running. Now, it is sense organs where they are experts in. One or the other sense organ. In whatever you are expert in as a species, that's where you will get maximum happiness. Which means all animals get happiness where? When their sense organs are happy, satisfied, they are very, very happy. That is where ultimate happiness lies. Now you tell me, how are humans different from animals? We are different from animals only in one way. How are we different? Our ability to think. We will be able to think better. So, if we are able to think better, if we have a lot of knowledge, then we will be the most happiest person. Right? When we will be able to think completely, become wise. So, knowledge is what makes us wiser. And the day we become wise, we will know what ultimate happiness is. For us to become wise, We need a lot of knowledge. Understood? And that's where ultimate happiness lies. What is the opposite of knowledge? Ignorance. What humans are doing on the other hand? Not running behind this satisfaction of sense organs. But people who go there will never be able to become ultimately happy. That is why you might see some of the people will be ultra rich, but still they claim to be not so happy. Why do you think they feel not so happy? Lack of knowledge? This is what we can say, right? So acquire as much as knowledge. No better place to be in than preparing for this examination. You get diverse knowledge. Embrace it. Right? Hold it close to your heart. Idea is to learn, understand how things work. General stuff. Your brain feels happy. When your brain feels happy, you'll know what ultimate happiness is. So this is the philosophy. Is it nice? Is it nice? Yes? On that note, we'll end the session. Okay? So I'll be meeting you again for the book list class. All right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to ask? Is there anything you want to ask? In every class, you are free to ask any number of questions. Okay? So all doubts related to your optional, all doubts related to your newspaper, note making, books, will have separate classes.
Those two NCERTs.
Yeah, very good. The two NCERTs, the task for you for the next few days till your actual subjects start is covering these two books. Book number 1, Politics in India Since Independence. Politics in India Since Independence. It is a NCERT class 12 book. And 2, Contemporary World Politics. This is also NCERT class 12. These two books you study. Okay. If you don't understand something, do research. You have Google, search it on Google, try to understand. It builds a very strong base. Because these are very, very interesting areas, you'll also feel like you have learned something.
So just read them through or like make consolidation.
Notes not required. Just read them through. Try to understand what it is. Okay, clear? Anything else? Is that all? Okay, shall we leave? Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you. Online people, you want to ask something? Anything? Yes? No?
No, sir.
No. All right.
Sir.
Yes? Thank you. Thank you.
Wait over here for 5 minutes. Wait. was your first class? Good. Which class you will be having tomorrow?